Malawi, stunting is still very high at 37%. But what is surprising is that we found that even among dairy farming households, stunting status was still very high, despite the potential of dairy farming in reducing stunting. So this, we can also see that even milk consumption at national level, it is very low at 5.1 kgs per capita. But if we also look at dairy farming households, we find that milk consumption is also lower. And we find that even among dairy farming households, there is no processing which can increase product diversity, which can also lead to more consumption. So then a study was conducted where we provided milk processing as well as nutrition education as pathways which can potentially see how best these dairy farming households can benefit in terms of stunting status for their children. So we conducted a quasi-experimental study from April to December 2016. So 2 milk bagging households were studied, and in these milk bagging households, we looked for those households that had children between the ages of 6 and 51 months, and also those that had a lactating cow. So we found that we had 31 households from the intervention group and 30 households that formed the control group. So we had from these 61 households, we had 79 children who were recruited. So we had 2 main interventions, that's nutrition education and milk processing. So the interventions were conducted every 2 months for 4 times at the intervention group. And data was also collected at 5 times after every 2 months. So data was entered in WHOAnthro, that's anthropometric measurements, and CS Pro then exported to SPSS for analysis. So the interventions, you can see from the pictures that on the milk product processing, we had 3 key categories of milk products. So the first one was enriched products, where we taught the women on how to make different milk products enriched with different fruits. That's milk smoothies plus carrot milk. Then we also have fermented products, which comprised of the chambiko, it is a local food, plus the yogurt. And in the yogurt, we also had yogurt smoothies. Then we had a coagulated product, which was pania. Then the other picture is showing a nutrition education session. They were running concurrently. So where the women were told the beneficial nutrients that are found in milk, and also they were told the minimum quantity of milk that they are supposed to feed their child daily. So they were provided with a cup, 250 ml, as a benchmark, where if they want to feed their child milk, they should use that measurement. So these interventions were taught to the control group after end-line data was collected, but the intervention, they were trained on these packages every 2 months. While the control group, to keep them in the group, they were trained standardized messages on scaling up nutrition. So here are the results. So we looked at the height. We can see that even at baseline, there were differences whereby the intervention group, they were a little bit better off in terms of on height and like on the control group. But as we progress with the intervention, we can see a little bit of a yawning effect happening. However, the differences were not significant. But at baseline, the difference between the control and the intervention, it was 0.6 centimeters, while at end line, the difference between control and the intervention group rose to 1.5 centimeters in terms of height. Then on stunting, what we saw is that at 2nd month, we had a drop in stunting at the intervention group, while at the control group, it was a maintained trend. What happened at the 2nd month, we had children who were moderately stunted. These ones moved to not stunted. And we had, these were when we had some children who were severe stunted, which was 9.7, but now at second month, these children, it dropped to 2.4. So it was, we're able to see the effect. But you can also see that after second month, at the intervention group, the stunting status was maintained, the trend maintained up to end line. But coming at 6 months, we found that the stunting status rose at the control group. What happened was that the children who was in the normal status, some dropped to moderately stunted, resulting to a rise. However, we can also see this, despite this being the case, but the differences were not significant at end line. On milk product processing, we found that there was a greater increase, and it was very significant at second month at the intervention group, which rose to up to 96.3%, and the trend was maintained at all the 4, 6, even at end line, and like at the control group, where the line is at the even less than 20% of households that were processing milk products. So looking at consumption, at baseline, there wasn't a variety of products that were consumed. However, yogurt was consumed at both intervention and control group through, then they were sourcing them by buying. And at end line, we can see that yogurt and yogurt still being consumed more at the intervention group as well as control group. However, homemade products were mostly consumed in the intervention group. However, the pattern was not specific. And we were able to see that banana milkshake, pania, and carrot were widely consumed at the intervention group. So coming to consumption of milk, we found that using a 24-hour recall, the children from the intervention group consumed more than 250 milliliters a day. And using 24-hour recall, the results were significant. From the intervention control group rather. But using the caregivers report, though we can see that there was a significant rise, but the results using the recall from the caregivers, they were not significant. So we're able to see the impact of training on household milk consumption quantity by the under 5 children. So what can we say is that this study was able to see the impact on consumption of household milk products by children as well as quantity of milk consumed per day. However, the differences were not significant on stunting status as well as linear growth. Therefore, what this study elucidated was that integrated programming must be promoted if we are to benefit more from the interventions that do with dairy farming households. Thank you so much.